Are you introverted? Is it a struggle for you to overcome situations or to rise up from that rough upbringing because of your introvertedness? I myself am an introvert. I know it seems at times a struggle, but there is a way, and there are benefits to being an introvert. So let's discuss this and more coming up. If you're new here, this is Peasant Uprising, where I help you overcome that rough upbringing and achieve success. Subscribe. I sympathize with the struggles of being an introvert, as I am introverted. I also can see some of the extroverted aspects as I married an extrovert. My wife is an extrovert. So I guess sometimes opposites do attract. And let me just say that being an introvert is not a bad thing. Oftentimes I feel like it is viewed as a bad thing. Like, oh, they're an introvert, they don't want to do anything, blah, blah, blah. And it often feels like it's not okay to be an introvert, which it's understandable from the other perspective. It's the opposite of what they are, so maybe they don't like it. And I think that's because extroverts are very busy and outgoing, trying to seek interactions and trying to essentially get what they need from life and kind of draw the attention towards the situations that they're trying to make and create. And there's nothing wrong with needing or wanting that connection. Extroverts tend to be a part of the big crowd and seek that out, while introverts are less apt to do that. They tend to want a little more solidarity and will, even within a large group, kind of be on their own because that's what they need out of the situation. They don't need the big crowds necessarily. They don't want the big crowds. It depends on the individual, but in general, most introverts are going to avoid the larger gatherings and larger crowds and have that solidarity so that they can get what they need out of the situation. I mean, we prefer seclusion. We'd rather be chilling on our own, recharging, getting what we need out of the situation, and there's nothing wrong with that. Social interactions can actually be very draining and very problematic for somebody who is introverted. Since I am an introvert, I understand this aspect quite well. And it's not to say that we can't experience a gathering or social interaction and walk away not completely drained from it. It means that repeated gatherings or social interactions on a heightened level will have that effect. So let's say on a typical day, you have multiple interactions that are very engaging, very energetic. That's all fine and good, but at the end of the day, you really feel drained from that. Whereas extroverts are charged up from that. They get what they need out of those interactions, so they often seek that out. And that is what they need. Since I'm an introvert, I will take the time to try and find solidarity and to be on my own, to work on things or to work on some of that stress that came from those interactions to try and move beyond and recharge from the situation. Now, my wife is an extrovert, and she provided a pro and a con from her perspective, how she views being an extrovert. The pro is that she's able to build a support group very easily. She's very outgoing, she can communicate and connect with people and really build things quickly. The con that she provided from her perspective is that sometimes the personality can be too strong or overbearing and will actually push others away, or the connection she sought out would not occur. Essentially, this person's coming on a little too strong. Whoa, back up there, hey. And that's most likely an introvert on the receiving end that may not be apt for that interaction. But chances are it could also be another extrovert who's just not ready for a connection. Now, I feel that introverts are a little more focused, let's say hyper-focused, on their interactions with others and all the inner workings of that interaction. So every interaction is something that is involving a lot of thought and mental energy. Whether or not they're trying to do that, it's just simply how it is. we're analyzing everything and we're hyper-focused on our role in that interaction and, trying not to screw anything up or have any uncomfortable issues come up. Whereas I feel like extroverts aren't worried about that necessarily. They want to seek out the interaction. They're good at it. They can breeze through a lot of the scenarios. And a lot of things they're not focused on in the same ways that introverts are. So they can gain a charge from an interaction rather than having their energy drained from it. So, extroverts out there, please let me know down in the comments what your feelings are about this situation and how you feel from your perspective. As well, introverts out there, let me know your thoughts and feelings about this particular topic. I wanted to talk about this topic to build better connections with you and to bring out more of my story with you and share it with you guys so that you can begin to understand a little bit more about me and so that we can together build this connection and really begin to help each other more and more. That's the goal, is to help each other rise up and become successful. So in doing that, we got to share and build upon each other. As we go throughout, we're going to get more and more of my background, my story, my experiences, and I'm going to be able to connect with you more and more, especially if you leave comments below. Now, it is very difficult for introverts to actually reach out and get the help that they need in particular situations, especially if they've gone through a rough upbringing, such as myself and many, many others out there. And if you're one of them, please share your story below in the comments. Let's connect. Let's talk about this. In bringing up this topic, I want to challenge you to step outside of your introvertedness and seek out the help that you really need. It's going to require effort and it's going to require uncomfortableness. You got to get out there and talk and interact and really understand that it's going to be okay to put yourself out there and get the help that you need. We must overcome this reluctance to get help. We got to step outside of our shell and do what's necessary for us to move on and really achieve success. Growing up poor and constantly moving around only reinforced my reluctancy to build connections and to seek out help. Oftentimes, the moment we got settled in and really got to start building connections, we were gone. So really, it's been a struggle to build connections and maintain them and really seek out help and get assistance for certain things when needed. That's been a challenge. But I'm working on changing that, and I want you to work on changing that for yourself as well. One of the ways that helped me, actually, is when I met my wife. She's an extrovert. She's basically the opposite personality-wise, and for whatever reason, we ended up clicking. And that's why I said earlier that sometimes opposites do really attract, and in this case, that really is the case. We actually end up complementing each other. My introvertedness is coupled with very logical process to decision making, and she and her extrovertedness are very outgoing and will literally jump in with both feet and just go for it. So I've been able to help her kind of slow down and think about it a little more, and she's helped me get out of my shell and just go for it. And we kind of have built a very strong relationship with that whole situation. So it's been a real blessing. Without her extrovertedness and our relationship becoming a thing, I'm not sure where I'd be at this point. It's very hard to say. She helps me get out of my shell and pushes me to do things I wouldn't normally do. And I really love her and appreciate her for that. And I appreciate the fact that my introvertedness has allowed her to understand sometimes you gotta slow down and make better decisions. I know this is perhaps a little bit off topic based on the current situation in the world right now. However, it's something I've been wanting to talk about for a while, and I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. It is something that we can really build the community with and begin to help each other really achieve success. So leave comments down below. You can also connect with me on Twitter and Instagram. I will definitely be happy to connect with you on either one of those platforms. Alright guys, thanks for sticking around, and I'll catch you in the next one. Coming up. Talking a lot about stuff. Just read and then talk. Extroverts, let me know. Be happy to contact you